You know what? It's a terrible report to tell you this. 100% of my healthcare workers are hired. 100% of my engineers are hired. 100% of my accountants are hired. You see what happens? And you think, this isn't bragging. I've got waiting lists of Alaskans who want to get the education to go out there in the workforce and save you money. Waiting lists. I got 400 people on a waiting list for nursing alone. I think people would like to have those nurses. Can't do it without support. I get these kinds of thoughts and questions all along. I mean, how about a law school? How about a design school? How about a geology school? Get the criticism, problem with the university is trying to be all things to all people. I can't be everything Alaska wants us to be. We have only 2/3 of the majors of our Western peers. We don't compare ourselves with Stanford. We don't compare ourselves with UW. We're talking about Idaho, Dakota, Montana, et cetera. We only have 2/3 of the majors that those schools have. We only have half of the master's degree programs they have. We have 1/4 of the PhD programs. There is a whole bunch else out there to do. I can't get done what we got. I can't get done what Alaskans are screaming for me to do. Now, we've moved forward pretty well because we did have the opportunity to double tuition, to double indirect cost recovery, get the money in from ConocoPhillips, get the TVEP funds. All of those things came together, and it's perfectly fine and reasonable, but I can tell you, it's done, it's over, all in. So we will be what we are for as long as it takes for the next step to be taken by funding from the state. And then maybe we will get such a thing. It's a tremendous investment in the future. Yes?
How's enrollment been going?
Enrollment has been going about flat for changes in its nature. We have a lot more full-time students. We have a lot more kind of typical first-time freshmen. What's begun to happen to us, this is what happens when you double tuition, is people who were taking, let's call them more casual courses or courses not aimed towards a specific degree, finally says, okay, you reached the limit, I'm not going to go do that. So we've lost some of that piece of it. It stayed the same, but just changed in its composition. But it's pretty flat. Now, I don't think it's over in terms of our move, but I can tell you what attracts more students. It is more programs. And if I don't get more programs, we're surely not going to get more students. Let me tell you what's happened. This is in a very short period of time. This is in a decade. We went from attracting 40% of Alaska's college-bound students to 65%. Okay, so almost 2 out of 3 high school graduates in Alaska who are going to college go to the state university. Now that's exciting because they're going to stay in the state. See, it's a simple deal. It's an unbelievably simple contract. The state says we will supplement the cost of education so as to keep tuitions low enough for our residents that they will be induced to come to the university and therefore grow up to be our workforce and our leaders in culture, our leaders in politics, etc. That's the deal. I think you were first. And
I want to thank you for the University of Alaska Fairbanks' investment in the Fishery Center, or the ones that they're making. What can Juneau, as a community, and the Juneau Chamber do to get the university to invest more in Southeast in different areas, such as forestry, agriculture? I've been working with Dr. Lewis and Dr. Holloway on agricultural opportunities in Southeast. What can we do to help you locate programs like here?
I will tell you this, and it's just books, it's just figures, it's all open to everybody, so don't trust me on this, go back and look. Take a look at the amount of money that's been given to the university and find out what the trickle-down factor is to the University of Alaska Southeast. What you're going to find is they have done extraordinarily well because they produce, all right? You put more money in the top, and the funnel will go the same way. I don't have any favorites. I fund the ones that produce. They have, you get more money in the top end, and you've gotten more money. We can't argue regionally. I'm from Fairbanks, I want all the money from Fairbanks. Doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And if you don't believe that, then just get somebody who's been involved in politics for a long time and let them explain to you how the shifts take place, okay? You don't want to be on the inside one time, outside the other side. That's why constitutionally we have the Board of Regents, the money comes in and they distribute it because they maintain a very apolitical view. They just want to basically do the same thing that they've directed me to do, fund the ones that produce. And that's the way the money is distributed. So that's the way. Support the university, and again, just go look at the books. UAS does very, very well, because you distribute monies fairly, you don't distribute monies equally. Those two are very, very different terms. And in this case, the fair thing is that UAS gets a little more than their percentage would seem to demand. And that's because of performance.
President Hamilton, what percentage of our students stay in Alaska?
Historically, it's been 82%, which is just remarkable. And that's I think that's at the 5-year mark. I think they measure it 5 years after graduation. Our Alaska scholars are staying at a much higher rate, by the way. They graduate more quickly. They just get through their courses more quickly. And they stay in the state to date for a longer period of time. Or a greater percentage of them stays in the state for that 5-year period of time. Yes?
What's the percentage of out of state?
About 10%. Well, that's the number of out of state that we get.
Right.
Okay, yeah, about 10%. I thought that's what you're going to ask, but sorry, I cut you off there. Yes, sir.
What's your expectation going into the next legislative session? I hear you saying you are what you are given this amount of money. Are they going to give you more, or is it?
I think they will. I think we know from talking with OMB that we'll probably have a budget going forward from the governor that funds all of our fixed costs and about half of the programs that we put forward. And there's a piece of me that wants to be disappointed because I wanted all of those programs, and that is a constraint. That isn't all the programs we would want. That is all the programs I thought I could sell. There is a marketing issue in this thing at some stage. You can't make people gag. The overall need for the university, to get us where we ought to be, just by saying, what if we were funded about like the national average? To catch us up to funding at the national average, it would take $150 million added to our budget, which of course we could not possibly accept because we could not possibly accountably digest that kind of money. You just can't. You can't do it. You got to be able to do something with the programs. But we've got a very, very popular governor behind this. We've had governors for 8 years prior to this one who have approved the entire region's budget, but maybe didn't have the same amount of clout or didn't have the same reputation or whatever. So I feel very good that this governor can kind of make it happen. I want to look for some other things on there. One of the pieces not done was fisheries. And fisheries, pretty important to this state, very important to this state. And I'd like to see that one come in. I'm going to work very hard at getting the fisheries portion done. But you probably ought to ask somebody else. I love this university, and I believe in it, and I just think we can do it. I just think we can, and I think it every time, and it doesn't matter, and it gets to the end of May, and they say, well, you were wrong again. And I just say, okay, what are we going to do next year? So I'm not a good